Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February 2025 Committee of the Whole Board meeting. And thank you for coming in and sharing the evening with us. Start out with the land acknowledgement that we acknowledge that we're meeting on the traditional land of the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, which is represented by the communities of Saugeen First Nation and Chippewas and Nawash unceded First Nation. We also thank the Métis Nation of Ontario, whose history people are well represented in Bruce and Grey counties. We have not received any, yes, we did. We received regrets from trustee Richie. Thank you very much. So now I'm looking for the approval of the agenda. And this is also any place where new business, if you want it needs to be added. So just to let you know that. That the agenda for the Committee of the Whole Board meeting for February 4th, 2025 be approved as printed. And I have a mover. Thank you, Trustee Moncombe. Any new business anybody wants to add? I see none. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in any of the items before you? See none. There are no delegations this evening, so now we're going to move right to staff reports and staff trips. I'm going to put the recommendation on the floor that the Blue Water District School Board consider for approval that John Diefenbaker Senior School students participate in the Europe Cultural and Reflective Field Trip March 13th, 21st, 2026. Contingent that it aligns with all travel advisories at the time of the trip. Can I have a mover for that? Thank you very much, Trustee Atkinson. And I'd like to invite the Superintendent of Education, Lowers, to speak to the report and recommendation. Thank you. Oh. Right now, let's do it. Okay, we just need, because I realized we have the field trip, it says March 13th to the 26th, but in the motion it's 13th to the 21st, so we just need to know which one's right. 21st. It's the 21st, so the motion is in order. Welcome.
Good evening. Hey, I have the privilege this evening of introducing two of our presenters. So Emmy Kingston is our student senator, and she's going to speak to this report tonight. We also have Principal Maureen Rapper, who is here, principal from JDSS as well. And so she will be able to help support answer any questions. So Emmy, we'll let you take over.
Right, and everyone can hear it. Right, thank you for taking the time to familiarize yourself with our upcoming trip to Europe. This 8-day tour takes place during March break of 2026. Our group will adventure to 3 countries with a focus on history, visual arts, French as a second language, and geography. We will begin our tour in Brussels, Belgium, where we will learn about the rich cultural history before making our way to Vimy Ridge in Normandy, in north of France. Here we will explore Canadian contributions and bravery to support Allied forces against the Axis forces. Students will be able to walk where former soldiers have walked and reflect on the sacrifice and dedication needed for our current rights and freedoms. After the trip to the north, they will board a coach bus down through Versailles to explore the gardens. Afterwards, they will continue to Paris, France to explore various art and culture opportunities. For example, they will have a guided tour of the Louvre, and they will open their eyes to wonderful art pieces that will certainly leave a lasting impression on the student. They will then head down to Nice and visit the second country of Monaco, where they will see contrasting styles of living from the north and south of France, and provide learning opportunities for the geography students who will see how humans interact differently with the environment. They will then visit the city and explore various areas of the France landscape, such as Lake Carrefour. We will end our tour here and fly back to Toronto, where a coach bus will be waiting to take them home to Hanover. The trip was created to provide students with the opportunity to grow as individuals and reflect on our Canadian troops' past and current contributions to their way of life. Originally, it was inspired by a picture of the Versailles Palace during a history class, where the student expressed interest in visiting the site. Inspired by this inquiry and interest, Ms. Gonzalez took it upon himself to reach out to various trip vendors and create a trip that students would not soon forget. We are hoping to run multiple fundraising events to bring down the cost of the trip as much as possible for students. Using vendors such as Sunscript, Elena's Pepperoni, JD Sweet, and Little Caesars Pizza, they should be able to make this a cost-effective trip for the students. Currently, the cost is $4,652. The goal of fundraising is to lower the cost to at least $4,000. Safety is another important point we cannot stress enough. They have considered multiple scenarios and contingencies to provide students with a safe trip. Students will be taking part in learning, safety sections to provide them with knowledge and guidance in case of an emergency. They will go through various scenarios such as if a student is missing from the group and ensure they provide students and chaperones with proper training to deal with similar situations. They do not expect this situation to occur, but will err on the side of caution. Additionally, students will receive a laminated card with a toll-free number that will alert the tour guides and chaperones in case of an emergency. The students have a keen interest in traveling and seeing the world, and they wish to provide this opportunity for them.
You did a really good job. Okay. This is the hard part. No, not really. Really nice, but we never do that to you. Okay, are there any questions or comments from the trustees? You did such a great job. I was gonna say that they have no questions. You did a wonderful job in presenting that any possible questions there were, that you answered them. So you should be very, very proud of yourself. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. And it was a really good presentation, and I was very jealous when you said the students were going to Paris, Louvre, when I was kind of a little downcast. Pardon? And it's also very nice to have the principal here, and if you need another chaperone.
Yeah.
Watch down. Just in case it's this week. Okay, go ahead, Jane. She is.
I thought it was really great that it'll be students from grade 10 through 12, a lovely opportunity for students within the school that to get to know each other that might not have the opportunity otherwise, and to take a full group from your own school rather than having to join up with a group from another area perhaps to make your tour full. But it does sound like an amazing trip. Thank you.
Trustee Craig?
Somebody always has to ask something along the lines of what accommodation has been made to enable lower income students to have this wonderful opportunity.
So as mentioned, there are plenty of fundraising opportunities, but if I can just defer to Mrs. Radford, she can give you some more information there.
Yes, we also have two local legions that are willing to participate if a student cannot pay. Durham and Hanover, which is lovely. And Kinsman have also stepped up, that is another service group that would be willing to donate some, we have a student in need.
And Trustee Atkinson?
Just a comment, Evie, are you able to go?
I would like to go, but I am currently participating in the New York trip come midday. So I'm not going to go this way.
Fair enough, but you had a wonderful presentation and you answered a lot of my questions through your presentations. Thank you for being so well prepared. And please tell Mr. Lassard if he's short on chaperones. My old school. Yes, I know.
Tired.
Get the most of it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm gonna put the recommendation back on the floor that the Blue Water District School Board consider for approval that John Diefenbaker Senior School students participate in the Year Cultural and Reflective Field Trip, March 13th to 21st, 2026, contingent that it aligns with all travel advisories at the time of the trip. It was moved by trustee Atkinson. All in favor? And that is carried. You're off to go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, I would like to invite Director Wilder to speak to the report and recommendation, and I'm going to put the recommendation on the floor. That the Blue Water District School Board consider for approval the 2025-2026 draft elementary and secondary school year calendars for submission to the Ministry of Education. Can I have a mover for that, please? Thank you very much, Trustee Lutz. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. We are governed as all boards across Ontario by Regulation 304, which outlines what we must do in terms of a school year calendar, what permissions we must receive. One of those is from the trustees, that they approve the draft calendars that are in front of you. You have an elementary version and a secondary version. It's nice because for next year, it is not considered to be a modified calendar. It's a very regular type of calendar. So you start the Tuesday after Labor Day. And then the days pretty much are aligned with the way they were this year. So in the report in front of you, you will see that there's just a list of different things. But we have to have 194 instructional days with 7 professional activity days. And the days there are listed, which we align this calendar with our co-terminus board. And we did have a meeting just last week, of which Chair Thompson sits on that, and many of our union partners. And they take a look as well at the calendars that are presented to them. And they have any questions, they present them to us or comments. This year, I think it was the record meeting, it lasted all of 10 minutes. And there were no really comments or concerns about them. They too approve of the calendar that's in front of you. And I just turn back to trustees for their comments or questions around what's before them.
Thank you. Any comments, questions concerning the calendar? I'm going to go to student trustee Powell and then you next, trustee Lutz.
I had a question, given the amount of snow days we have recently had, are we doing anything to maybe prevent a similar situation with the exams that happened and a lot of them got canceled? Are we putting more conflict days in to accommodate? Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but in the off chance it did.
So through the chair, you'll see in the report that we are allowed to schedule in 10 examination days. That's part of the regulation 304. So we always schedule 5 in January and then 5 in June. We use all the max that we can use, of which, because generally in the semester you have 4 sources, you would do 4 exams with that conflict day. So I can appreciate, given what we've been through in the last couple of weeks, your question. But we usually would keep the schedule the same. We are looking at things, we had a great presentation in business committee just looking at transportation, and we're looking as well at the instructions being delivered during those instruction days separate from exam. But it's certainly, this is unprecedented. In the 39 years that I've been involved in education and a lot in secondary, we've never ever had to do that before. So let's hope going forward, you have 39 more years where that will not be the case. Thank you for your question.
I think trustee Lutz.
One quick thing just to clarify, just a few years ago, we did have to cancel exams due to weather as well. Yeah,
19.
yeah, yeah. So it has happened before.
2019.
Yeah.
2013.
Yeah.
So although, did we not, to the chair, have the conflict day though? We did have some time in there.
Yeah. Anyways, under my actual question through the chair / comment. It is much less serious than what we just had, so I apologize, but after this past year, I want to say Director Wilder and I had a bit of a conversation about Halloween and professional development day, so I looked more closely and was happy to see that Halloween's on Friday, so we don't have to worry about that. I want to say I checked that ahead of time instead of after the fact this year, so. Thank you.
Any further questions or comments? I don't see any. Thank you very much. Put the recommendation back on the floor that Blue Water District School Board consider for approval of the 2025-2026 draft elementary and secondary school year calendars for submission to the Ministry of Education. It was moved by Trustee Lutz. All in favor? And that is carried, and thank you very much. Next, we're at committee reports. I'm going to put the recommendation on the floor, and I'm going to ask Trustee Atkinson to speak to it. That the Blue Water District School Board consider for approval the draft letter provided by the Special Education Advisory Committee, CR, regarding special education funding and educational assistant shortage to send to the Minister of Education, Jill Dunlop. Can I have a mover? Okay, thank you, Trustee Atkinson, and welcome.
To just speak to the letter. The last meeting we were at, we were talking briefly about at the last meeting we were attending, we were speaking a little about the letter from the Ottawa Catholic District School Board. Their chair had sent out a letter about special education grants and transportation funding that was cut. So we had then, I had taken it back to SEAC, and we had decided to also send a letter in support of their letter, and to say, yes, we are also fearing those challenges in the upcoming school year. So we have asked, if you read the letter, we have asked for some action items, and that there's 5 of them listed. Free tuition for EA programs, so offering free tuition for students in EA programs. And if you remember, the government did that with PSWs a couple of years ago. Retention bonuses, providing financial incentives for EAs to remain in the sector. A living wage and benefits, so ensuring that EAs receive a living wage and their benefits, and providing professional development, investing in ongoing professional development for EAs, and improved working conditions, addressing workload concerns, and providing necessary resources. And sorry, there's a 6th bullet, and that stable employment, offering full-time stable positions to retain our EAs in our schools. So, if you have any questions, you've been all sent this letter in your package. I will do my best to answer them to the best of my ability.
Is there any questions, comments to, or Trustee Atkinson? Trustee Thompson, and then Trustee Craig.
And I think the letter is excellent. My question is about who we're sending it to. Given that government is not sitting and we're in an election, would it make sense, and I don't know who this person is, but to send this to someone in the ministry as in staff, not an elected official, so that it doesn't get lost? Is that possible?
But okay, are you going to respond to that question?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
I would suggest, given that we are in an election period, that it would be very appropriate to send it to the Deputy Minister of Education in their consideration. That's essentially where it would land anyway, if it was sent to Jill Dunlop. And we should also send it with a covering letter to all 3 party leaders, 3 primary party leaders, make it 4 party leaders. We get the Greens.
I'd like, can you like to respond to that? So what we do not know, because we're in a caregiver, situation, the government isn't sitting and there actually isn't a government who's paid, is that, and we also don't know who is going to be the Minister of Education. that you can send it to the Minister of Education, whoever that may be.
Okay.
Okay, and then a deputy. And and Michael, like he suggested that, could we send it to the education critics of the other three parties represented in the legislature? So that way you're covered.
And that is what our intent was when we discussed this at SEAC, to send it to those parties.
Okay.
Exactly.
Any further questions, comments? Go ahead, trustee Lutz.
Just kind of further to what was being discussed. Would it make sense to approve it and send it once the election's done to the Minister of Education? I think, yeah, I have no idea. I'm just wondering if that might, because we can approve it to say that we will send it once the election's completed, and I don't know if that matters or not, in the sense that if it would be beneficial.
Tracy?
Wow, good question.
Yeah.
Am I correct to understand that this has to go to board for after here? So excuse me, sorry, I didn't use my microphone. So if that is the intent, it goes to board on the 18th of February. The election is the 27th.
Yes.
So could we send it? It was 9 days.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It'd be 9 plus a week.
Yeah, and also who's gonna be in the Minister of Education, there's gonna be a transition, like,
Yeah.
you can't say what the election outcome is going to be. So do you want it to go to the minister, and it'll go to the minister, it doesn't matter who it is, the title is the Minister of Education. The other thing I would like, is that, can I share that with the entire school board?
Yeah.
Thank you. It's me.
Okay. That was our up on our list as well. And this is time sensitive, because we did do our homework and we investigated that these points do affect Blue Water. And so, we got the letter from the Ottawa Catholic Board back in December, I believe it was, end of November. So I would like to see this sent to the Minister of Education, the critics as well, OPSPA, of course, and the sitting chairs of all SEAC committees.
Okay, oh,
Sorry.
that's okay. I'm just trying to look up quickly when my next board of directors meeting is, and mainly because you could send it and you want it to be shared at the board of directors, but it just doesn't go to the president.
Right.
It actually shared. Okay, so it would come in my board package. That's what I'm trying to say.
Please. Yes, please.
Go ahead.
Or to clarify, as we get correspondence from TJ through OPSPA, that a board has asked it to be shared with all the boards in the province.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. And the reason why I'm asking that, and the reason I'm kind of talking about that is because, we do, go before whoever the government may be. And, kind of go there and ask for our ask in terms of what we would like to see in the coming budget. That's why. So if it fits. Frank, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we all are quite aware that the Ministry of Education continues on regardless of the party in power. And I think that most of the decisions are made at the deputy minister level. And they are either sanctioned or poo-pooed by whoever is the current minister. So I would suggest that the deputy minister would receive it and pass it on for discussion with the minister, whoever that might be. Thank you.
Well,
It's kind of the same thing.
I just think you can have it both, right? You can put Minister of Education, care of Deputy Minister, so you want to make sure, because in actual fact, who makes those decisions are around the cabinet table when they're putting a budget together and approving it. And we always, and OSPA always does a deposition there too. Go ahead, Michael.
I'm very pleased to see the points under urgent need for action, in particular, the urgent need for a living wage and benefits. I don't think anybody thinks that EAs are really paid enough to have a true living wage. I'd like to know if we have any sense of what that would be, a living wage. Because it's very vague when you just throw it out like that. But of course, but it actually could be that Tracy may want to tell us what she thinks.
Yeah, like Tracy, you can share that, but I think it varies across the province.
Yeah, I know that. Of course it does.
And we did take bits and pieces from the Ottawa Catholic District School Board letter as well to make it our own. And that was one of the items that they had put in theirs as well. And we all said around the table, it depends on where you are in the province to what a living wage is. It's much different here than it is in Toronto or Kingston or wherever you might be. We just want it to be fair, and we want to retain the EAs that we have in our schools.
Hey, is there further comments, questions? I don't see any, so I'm gonna go back to the main motion. That the Blue Water District School Board consider for approval the draft letter provided by the Special Education Advisory Committee regarding special education funding and educational assistant shortage to send to the Minister of Education. Can Mr. Rock, as a friendly amendment, Jill Dunlop? Just because I'm just saying it. And then we could, and you already know from our conversation, the other recipients. That's great. It was moved by Trustee Atkinson. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you very much. Okay. Next, once again, I'm going to invite Trustee Atkinson, and also it might be Superintendent Lowris to speak to the report for information, and it has to do with the Parent Involvement Committee meeting of January 13th, 2025. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Sorry. We didn't take minutes. Should have read it.
I was at the meeting, so it's, the Parent Involvement Committee met on January 13th, on Teams. And we had a presentation, on programs to support job skills development. It was provided by Kim Harbinson, our Learning Services Administrator. And Andrew Lowe, with Superintendent of Business Services, provided a presentation on technology distribution in Blue Water District School Boards. That was a big concern for some of the parents that wanted more technology in the school and they wanted to fundraise. And Andy was very straightforward to the point that, why we don't encourage that. And I think at the end of the meeting, after you left, Andy, we all understood what we were trying to tell them. This is a very unique group of parents, and it's nice to hear their positive comments at these meetings and all their ideas they share. And it's truly an enjoyment to meet this group. So that is my report. If there's any questions relating to it, I will be happy to answer to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Questions, comments concerning Parent Involvement Committee? See any, but I apologize. I just kind of went right to the motion.
And we had a long clock, so you did. That's okay. I just had to get to the right meeting.
Or email apologize. Okay, there doesn't seem to be any questions, so you did a thorough job. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Okay, so now we're down to reports for information and this afternoon. No, wait a minute. There's no, oh, right, is there any notices of motion? No notices, okay. So now we're down to the Black Student Forum. I would like to invite Superintendent Education LaFave to speak to the report. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair. My colleagues were laughing because I asked computer report across the room there. That's just so excited to be out here. The last big one that took place a couple of months ago was absolute huge success. It was the second annual, and coming up to speak will be Nathan Campbell in just a second, but I have just a few things to say. The forum was, again, a huge success. It was the second time that we hosted it. It was at Bray Highlands Secondary School. And this time around, we worked very closely, again, with Junction Community Initiative and our friend Joel John, who's the founder of Junction Community Initiative and also a Southgate counselor. And she put together an amazing group of people. We had, I can say, almost a dozen professionals who Joe is familiar with, from doctors, lawyers, real estate agents, poets, artists. We had performances that day. We had opportunities for the students to share. The food was absolutely amazing again. We very much enjoyed it. I wish that student trustee White was here because she was there that day and she always enjoys the food when we have it out. And Joan was the person, one of our friends that helped to connect Adrian Campbell with us a few years ago when we posted for the Human Rights Equity Advisor. So I had Adrian to come forward. We're going to have to raise the mic a little bit, a little taller than I am, and to speak a little bit about the forum. He was a big part of helping to put that together with Joan.
So Keith stole all my speaking. So on November 14th of last year, we had the second student forum at Grey Islands. We had over 120 students attend from Jordan Bay Community School, Grey Island Secondary School, King Carden Senior School, Owen Sound District Secondary School, Southern District Senior School, and Walkerton District Community School. Students got the chance to deepen their knowledge on Black culture, Black excellence, and were provided the opportunity to connect with facilitators and guest speakers and entertainers from all walks of life within the Black community. Some of the facilitators that came by was a criminology student, office manager, a mayor office advisor, a licensed electrician, a veterinarian, mental health and addictions nurse, an entrepreneur, a talk show host and actress, musician, producer, singer-songwriter, social worker, and a lawyer. So we had a lot of guest speakers and facilitators. As Keith mentioned, Junction Community Initiative, which was founded by Joan John, and also her executive personnel support for, or instrumental in organizing the presentation and the workshop facilitators for the event. So the student forum supported student well-being, promoted equity, and created inclusiveness for students to share their experiences. Some of the feedback that students gave during the forum were that they learned a lot. They would like to attend the next student forum. They love the occupational diversity of the facilitators, and they rated the event a 4.5 out of 5, which was very good. And out of 120 students, for the survey that was done, we got 72 students that responded to the survey, which was pretty good. I'm going to share some of the other feedback that student gave. One said, it surprised me. My expectations were it surprised my expectations. One said, guest speakers and dancers were really good. One said, I forgot my chicken at the school. Other than that, it was amazing. And some of them said that they wish it was longer, and one even mentioned that they wish it was a 2-day event. So we got a really excellent update on it. So yeah, the second student forum was a success. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have? Okay, I'm gonna ask questions, comments now.
Yep.
I just wanna make sure that I want to cut anybody off. Okay. Questions, comments concerning the Black student forum? Go ahead, trustee Lutz.
Through the chair, I just wanna thank you and everyone involved who put it on for doing all the background work necessary for being a welcoming face there and for putting on these very important events for students. So thank you very, very much.
And trustee Craig?
Very, very impressive event. Congratulations on the work you did there. That really helped to pull together that particular community. My question though is, has any consideration been given to offering something similar for students of other non-white ethnicities, Asians, Oriental, whatever? Because the point is that by coming together like that, they can feel more like they are valued and are a vital part of our community.
So currently we're in the planning phase of a multicultural forum. That is something that we are hoping to have at the Outdoor Education Center. And for this one, we want to involve the community as well. So we're looking at maybe one of the weekends at one of the open houses. So we can involve the community and we can have individuals from all walks of life, every culture, tradition, and experience to come and share their experiences, their knowledge, food, and all sorts of things. So we're currently in the planning phase. So we're looking at maybe 2026, 2027, because this would be a real big event.
Sorry, just to add to that, Aiken was also a huge part. He worked with the Saugeen District Senior School group of students who last year invited him to come and help with putting together a multicultural fair at the school. And maybe you just want to share a little bit about that, because that was a huge success. I think that was.
Yeah, so we and it's gonna happen again. So this year it's gonna happen, I think, in April. What we did last year, we put together like different students would pick a culture that they would want to explain and talk about, and they built different booths, and they would have their poster up about those cultures and communities. And we also brought a lot of food, like I brought jerk chicken and rice and peas. The students really enjoyed it. Students were, fretting of, the uptake that they would get on an event like that, but it went smoothly, beautifully. Parents came by in the evening. Students took turns from different grades and different classes to come through. All my tickets were done when it just started on the banana bread. I don't know who made it, but tickets were done on the banana bread. But yeah, we do events like that. Yeah.
So that day I had some delicious, like sweet rice from a family that had moved from Saudi Arabia. And the mom had moved from Saudi a number of years ago. Which brought back memories to me because I lived in Saudi Arabia back in the East. So, but then there were also great other experiences. It was neat to see, like, we had students who just come from Scottish heritage in Saugeen Shores, and they were there really proudly displaying their board all about what their ancestors had done as Scottish settlers in the area. So they were extremely proud of their work and really proud of their culture. So, and that's what Aben was doing, was just talking to everyone about how important it is to know and understand and be proud of your culture. So that was a really great message at Saugeen. Every student was in the gym area at that time. Part one, do you remember that? It was valuable. So yeah, that was wonderful. And also just to highlight and to remind everyone the number of student forums that we have had. So we've had an equity forum, we've had the Black Student Forum, we have the Indigenous Student Forum coming up. We also have our Rainbow, which is LGBTQIA+. Last year we had the SAL Forum, so for students in alternative learning forum, with a multilingual student forum. So we provided a number of opportunities through all the departments. They're jumping on board because they're saying student success is just rocking it, and they're creating these great opportunities for students to amplify their voice. We're just doing that important work, so we really appreciate, them doing that. Thank you. And shout out to Kim Apartments, has been a big part of helping to organize this, and Kathy Archer at Great Highlands, and Lori at Great Highlands were extremely welcoming to us in helping us in the organization.
Thank you. Trustee Johnson has a question or comment.
You answered it in part because you identified all the schools that came together in our large geographic area. That's terrific. My question is, when you spoke about how well received it was, how much the students enjoyed it, I'm wondering what opportunities there are for those students to make connections, to carry on those connections throughout the year, or is that just an informal situation that they take on themselves?
Yeah, so Johnson Community Initiative is a big part of the Great Roots on some communities, and they work with the schools a lot. And the students got a chance to connect with each other. And they even spoke about that in their feedback, that they got to make new friends, they got, new numbers and got to communicate. So students are connected. Junction Community Initiative works with a lot of the schools, and they work a lot within the community. So the students, they don't just see Junction at the schools, they see Junction in the community as well. And they participate in events that Junction does within the community. So they do a lot of connecting.
Just a one sentence comment here. I mean, facetiously. I'm proud to note from everything you say that this board is woke and absolutely proud of it. That's what we should be.
See, I can say, go ahead.
So living in a small community, I hear a lot. And so on the Friday, the 15th, I heard about your delicious food. I almost thought, oh, I wish I was there. But I had a sibling from one of the students that attended the forum and asked me, why can't we have this in elementary school? We have voices too. And although I couldn't dispute that, there is a process. So I told him to jot all his ideas down, and when he's in grade 9, 10, you go for it. You be the next prime minister. It's well received, and going back to the friendships that they build, I've seen it over and over. They connect and they keep in touch, and their social media is wonderful for that. And I applaud you for taking the time to share with them. And I also heard that usually sometimes public speakers can drag, but they engaged with them, and it was good. They were very well received, and from the feedback I got, and it was all very positive, nothing negative, but the food was awesome.
Any further comments or questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And I think that we're going to stay there because because we're now going to have the Youth Climate Action Conference report. Go ahead, welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Nice to be back up here. So the Youth Climate Action Conference, this is the third annual conference that has taken place. In the last 2 years, though, we've stepped in, and Anita's been a big part of that in helping, working with the committee and being part of the committee that is bringing this to our communities. So this was a grassroots effort. Hillary Coburn, a teacher at Georgian Bay Community School, was the originator of this, and it involved a number of schools. And then I saw the success. I've been at every single one of them. This last year, she's on another mat leave right now, but there are a lot of people that are stepping in and on the committee and helping out, and Anita is one of those. Anita Kostlake is our experiential learning teacher, and she is going to be explaining to you a little bit about the day, what took place. I know that our director was there as well. I was there, Learning Service Administrator Harbinson was there. We all enjoyed the day, a lot of learning, some really good food there as well. You can tell, maybe where I get my cuisine with my job. Anyway, it was a fabulous day, and the students that go back, they're so passionate about the environment and the climate, and they bring that passion back to the school with them. I'm going to put the presentation up on the screen, and I'll have Anita take over.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to share some insight from this year's Youth Climate Action Conference. We also call it YCAC, and it took place on November 7th, 2024. For the past 2 years, Kim Harbinson and I have been active members on the YCAC Planning Committee. The Youth Climate Action Conference began, as Keith said, in 2023, when local Blue Water teacher Hillary Coburn organized the first conference as a maternity leave passion project. This inaugural event took place on March 2023, bringing together 50 students from 5 local schools. The second Youth Climate Action Conference was held that fall, November 2023, the Zinham campus with over 50 volunteers. So there's quite a huge volunteer base that contributes to making this event happen. And we had 60 students that year from 9 local schools. Students in grades 6 to 8 participated and were encouraged to initiate climate action projects in their schools and share their progress at the Earth Day community event in Owen Sound. So fast forward to this year, we hosted the largest Youth Climate Action Conference to date. We had over 27 schools participate, including 19 Blue Water schools, with a total of 95 Blue Water students and 19 Blue Water teachers in attendance. Due to the significant growth of this event, we had to get a larger venue. So this is our first year hosting the event at the Harmony Center. One of the most exciting additions this year was that we have formed a new partnership with a nonprofit organization called Learning for a Sustainable Future, LSF. LSF selects schools each year to run climate action conferences. And this collaboration also provided more structure to our event and connected us to a broader network of expertise beyond our local reach. LSF also provided a full day of professional development for our teachers, as well as $500 to each participating school to support their climate action projects back in their schools. The feedback that I received from teachers was overwhelmingly positive. They felt supported and well equipped to guide their students in developing meaningful climate action initiatives back in their schools. So the conference began this year with an introductory session featuring a keynote presentation by students from Erin Terra Elementary School. They shared insights about their climate action project called Trees for Terra. And throughout the day, students participated in 3 different workshops designed to educate and inspire them. The goal was for the students to reconvene at the end of the day and come back into their school groups and begin planning their own climate action projects. During the lunch break, students had the opportunity to explore booths at the climate fair, where they engaged with local organizations and learned about various sustainability initiatives in our area. To conclude the day, students presented their climate action project ideas to the entire group, fostering a collaborative environment where they could learn from each other. So this year we had 2 student volunteers from OSDSS create a highlight reel of the conference, not concert. And I thought it would be fitting to play that reel so that you could get a glimpse firsthand of the day. That gives you just a little taste of what the day was like. It was an awesome event this year. So what's next? We are having a Youth Climate Action Conference this coming fall. So we are planning that, and we're looking for an even bigger venue because the Harvey Center was a little bit cramped. So we're looking forward to that. The YCAC Planning Committee is actually hosting an in-person after-school meeting for teachers that attended the event on February 20th, where they can reconnect, share ideas, and collaborate on their climate action projects and classroom learning initiatives. We also have several of our climate action projects that are going to be showcased at the Earth Day event in On Sound in April. So looking ahead, we're still planning for the fall of 2025. And we want to thank everyone who made this a priority and who came and visited that day. We had such a strong supportive presence from our school board, and that was noted by the organizations that were also in attendance that day. So we just want to say thank you for your support, and we welcome that continued support.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Questions, comments? Go ahead. Usually trustee Kyle.
Thank you so much. Earlier, Anita and Kim had talked to myself and the rest of the Student Senate, and their passion and care for this project was very evident. They were asking us for a lot of our info and our input, and we had a lot of really good discussion about what we thought would be beneficial. Like what we can do as a board to improve on climate change and sustainability. And I think that, yeah, it just really goes to show how much like love and passion and genuine care they're putting into this project. So thank you so much for your presentation. And thank you so much for helping to put this on.
Thank you. Trustees, anybody online? Oh, sorry, I thought Jane was trying to point out somebody and I was missing that completely. Go ahead, trustee Thompson.
I know our teachers can't be in all places at all times, so I'm wondering if resources or ideas are shared somewhere centrally so that all teachers are able to access them and use them with their classrooms if they want it.
That's actually something that we're looking to initiate and create more of a central resource bank as part of our sustainability planning moving forward. It's not something that we have currently, but it's something that we've actually been talking about and are considering.
Any further questions or comments? I just wanted to make a comment about the video. It was great, and I was really wondering what the gentleman was showing the students. It looked like there was something to do with sand that made them further away from it. It was very interesting what they were actually doing.
And that's, I believe that was the shoreline preservation workshop.
So yeah, so I wondered about that, so that was why. So it's important. I live in King Farm, North Carolina. Excellent. Well, thank you very much again. Thank you. Okay, we are now at any of new business. There is no new business that was brought forward at the beginning of the meeting. So now we're at announcements. Are there any announcements for this evening? I don't see any. I'm gonna say this, I do know at school, you're gonna talk about what kind of initiative by the next board meeting, but I know that they do special things for Valentine's Day at school, is that correct? Right? Oh, yeah. Thank you.
So I'm just going off of what we've done in the past for myself and other schools. I know it's probably similar. Candygrams are a big one. We did flowers last year, not sure again this year, but flowers were a big hit. Getting cute little roses. I have my dried still. I don't have them, so. I know some schools do dances. I'm not too sure. Are any of you guys doing dances? No dances this year, but maybe next year. So lots to look forward to. We're planning, throughout the school, we're planning lots of events, coming in the spring, once we start to get some nicer weather, hopefully. So lots to look forward to.
Thank you very much. Okay, then I'm going to move on. So, it's included in your package, trustee calendar events that has been provided for information. You'll notice that as we get closer to June, the calendar events get shorter and shorter. And then finally, we're going to go to adjournment. So, that the Blue Water District School Board adjourn at 7:57. Can I have a mover for that? Thank you, trustee Luz. You are adjourned, except that trustee Morgan and trustee McComb, please stay online.